Final day of the Walmart FLW Tour, wrapping up the season, and I've got deja vu. You know why? I stood in a Walmart parking lot last year at Chickamauga at the final day weigh-in, and we talked about you winning Angler of the Year, and here we are again, all over again, number 2. 2 years in a row, Andy.
I'm surprised. I really am. You know, like I said last year, this is a bonus at the end of the year. I go out and try to do as good as I can possibly do in every tournament. And not have a mess up, not have a bad day. And this was a year that you could not have a bad day, and it ended up winning. So I'm very tickled.
I think you've kind of dialed in an Angler of the Year winning program for you, and that is, we talked about this last year at length, and that is you play your own game. You don't get caught up in chasing other guys, what's going. You didn't go with this tournament and get all your ledge scanning electronics, and you just do. You come to a tournament knowing what you want to do, and that's how you play the game.
Yeah, I really do. That's the way I enjoy to fish, and I enjoy fishing tournaments, and I try to stay away from the hype. Once the hype's created and everybody starts doing that, it really waters down the hype. So I try to just kind of skip that and do my own deal and fish comfortable. I fish, I'm comfortable in my own skin. If I catch them, I do. If I don't, I don't. And that's just the way I play.
Your style, too, is almost more of a survival style. And what I mean is you're not looking for giant schools or the giant cove of bedding fish because you're worried about day 3 and 4. You just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, that's all I've ever done. I've always considered myself a check grabber. I've won one major event over several years, been second, third, fourth, lots of times. But my style of fishing is not very conducive, obviously, to winning. The giant schools of fish, summertime tournaments, that's probably what's going to win. If you can guard that giant school of fish or the right grade of fish, you're more than likely you're going to have a chance to win. My style of fishing, I peck around, try to catch 3 or 4 good ones a day, and very seldom do you catch 5 good ones in a day, which, it's just tough to win not catching 5 good ones in a day, especially when on a slugfest deal like this.
We're talking about, you just mentioned the hype, kind of going against the hype or against the grain. Some of the hype we've had in the last few years in this business has been Alabama rigs, offshore fishing. And we talked the other day, you and I joked about how these guys go get $15,000 worth of electronics, and you're like, go ahead and let them do that because they're all down there on that end of the lake doing that. In a way, do you feel like that's opened up water for you in the way you like to fish? I mean, let's take away Alabama rigs and looking for those big schools. Everybody's kind of up there on the bank with you.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of thins everybody out. I mean, they're out there looking for the golden BB, the winning spot. And that happens. That's hard to beat that. And like I said, 90% of the time, that's going to win the event. I'm more of like the blue-collar type fisherman. I'm going to get out there and grind it out 10 hours, 8 hours, however long you got to fish. I'm going to grind it out in practice, fish long practices, and try to find as many nuggets as I can find. Those one-fish spots where you're like, ooh, if I pull up here, I'm probably going to catch one. And I fish, from nugget to nuggets, what I try to do, and stay out of the hype. And it's just blue collar. It's just a lot of hard work. And it takes some long days to find enough little single places to put together any kind of performance. So that's just my style.
Last year, you kept saying slow and steady wins the race, and it was kind of that way this year.
Yeah, it was exactly the same way this year, and it's slow and steady, and you catch them one fish at a time. Conditions are changing constantly. It's more, realistic this time of year that things are stable. But throughout the year in the spring, we've had the super cold and the super sunny at Hartwell. Things changed at Hartwell. I mean, Beaver's the same way. We had those fronts coming in. I mean, you have to change hourly. Once you get to this time of year, everything kind of stabilizes a little bit. But there's a lot of randomness to fishing bass tournaments and doing well. You have to keep a really open mind, and I think that's the key to doing well over a long period of time. You have to keep that open mind, and there's a lot of guys out here that do that fish by their just by their cuff. I mean, every hour something's changing, and a lot of guys can make that adaptation, and I've made a career on that.
Couple last things before we let you go here. I want to know, Andy Morgan, where does he fish for fun? Like what kind of fishing do you, I mean, we all know you bass fish, and along any green bass that swims, you're going to want to catch it. But do you do any other type of fishing? I know you're a mad hunter. You love to hunt, but any other types of fishing you do?
Well, I actually went and done some saltwater fishing this year, and you had a little something to do with that. You've been on me for years, and Randall Tharp moved in there and go, dude, you got to go try this out. Well, I went with a friend of mine, Miller Robinson, and his family this year to St. George Island. we went down a red and speckled trout fishing. The reds weren't very good, but the speckled trout, that kind of lit a little fire under me. That was a lot of fun. It was something different, but a lot like bass fishing. But that was a good time. I'll be back to do that some more.
If they start having speckled trout tournaments, Andy Morgan a threat there?
You never know.
Sounds good. There he is, your Angler of the Year for the FLW Tour.